Well,
Yeah.
even for seasoned IT pros,
Okay.
this can feel pretty overwhelming. But what's interesting here is that Microsoft is really putting a lot of focus on the why behind cloud migration right now.
Okay.
They're not just kind of,
Yeah.
pushing technology for
Yeah.
technology's sake.
So it's more about solving business problems than just geeking out over the latest cloud features.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's start with cost efficiency.
Okay.
This is a huge pain point for companies with
Yeah.
these sprawling
Right. Yeah.
data centers.
Yeah, for sure.
Microsoft is saying that you could cut VM configuration costs by 20 to 30%
Wow.
just by switching to Azure.
Okay. So slash your server maintenance budget
Yeah.
by almost a third.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning.
And that's just the beginning.
That definitely gets the CFO's attention,
Right.
but it's got to be more than just cost, right?
Absolutely.
What else is driving this whole cloud stampede?
Well, agility is key.
Okay.
Businesses these days need to be able to adapt rapidly, and the cloud provides that on-demand scalability.
Right.
So picture this. You launch a new product.
Okay.
Suddenly, your website traffic explodes.
All right.
With Azure, you can handle those peaks
Right.
without breaking a sweat or investing in a ton of extra hardware
Yeah.
that just sits idle most of the time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And of course, security is always top of mind.
Of course.
Especially with those headline-grabbing
Yeah.
data breaches
Yeah.
happening all the time.
All the time. Well, Microsoft
Yeah.
is throwing some serious weight behind security.
Okay.
They have 3,500 cybersecurity experts
Wow.
dedicated
That's so
to
cool.
protecting Azure.
Yeah.
That's a level of expertise that most companies just can't replicate on their own.
It's like having a whole army of
It's-
digital bodyguards for your data.
Exactly.
But what about companies that are stuck with older software?
Right.
Migrating can seem pretty daunting if
Yeah.
you're worried about compatibility issues.
And that's where it gets really clever.
Oh.
They're offering extended security updates
Okay.
for legacy software,
Okay.
like Windows Server 2008
Right.
on Azure.
Yeah.
So instead of scrambling to replace everything,
Okay.
you can buy yourself some time
Yeah.
to modernize at your own pace
Right.
without exposing yourself to vulnerabilities.
So it's like a safety net
It is.
for those who can't just rip and replace their entire infrastructure overnight.
Exactly.
That's a smart move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the innovation angle.
Right.
Cloud-native technologies
Right.
can supercharge development,
Okay.
potentially boosting efficiency
Wow.
by 50%, according to Microsoft.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
faster time to market,
Yeah.
more features, and happier developers.
And happier developers.
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
So it's not just about keeping the lights on.
Right.
It's about giving your business a real competitive edge.
Exactly.
They're painting a pretty compelling picture here.
Yeah.
But how do you actually make this move?
So Microsoft has laid out a roadmap.
Okay.
It's called the Cloud Adoption Framework.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about the tech.
Okay.
It's about aligning people, processes,
Okay.
and strategy.
All right, so let's break that down.
Sure.
What are the key milestones on this cloud journey?
Well, first you define your strategy.
Okay.
Before you even think about servers
Right.
and software, you got to figure out your why.
Okay.
What specific business goals
Yeah.
will migrating to Azure help you achieve?
So it's about having a clear destination in mind
Exactly.
before you start packing your bags for the cloud.
Right, gotcha. Then comes planning.
Okay.
Time to get granular
Or-
inventory, your apps,
Okay.
map those dependencies,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out your actual resource usage.
So it's like creating a blueprint
It is.
of your digital world.
It is.
You don't want to show up at your new cloud home
Right,
and
yeah.
realize you've left something essential
Yeah,
behind what comes after the planning phase.
Then you get ready.
Okay.
Think of it as prepping your environment for the move.
Mhm.
This is where the concept of a landing zone comes in.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Okay.
What exactly is
Yeah.
a landing zone?
So it's a dedicated, secure environment
Hmm.
within Azure
Okay.
that's prepped to receive your workloads.
Gotcha.
It ensures consistency across your cloud setup,
Okay.
and it helps you maintain control over security, compliance, and costs
Okay.
from the get-go.
So it's more than just carving out some server space.
It is.
It's like setting up a secure,
Yeah,
organized foundation
Right.
for your new cloud home.
exactly.
Once your landing zone is ready,
Mm-hmm.
you move into the migration phase. And
Yeah.
we'll dig into the specifics later.
Okay.
But there are several approaches
Yeah.
to consider,
Mm-hmm.
from a simple lift and shift
Right.
to more complex strategies.
Exactly.
Okay, so different move
Yeah.
for different apps
Mm.
depending on your needs and goals.
Correct.
But the journey doesn't end with migration.
It doesn't.
You need to govern
Right.
and manage your new environment effectively.
Yes, you do.
So it's not just about getting to the cloud.
Right.
It's about thriving once you're there. Governance and management. Those sound like topics for another day.
Another day.
But before we move on,
Okay.
I'm curious about the tools
Yeah.
that Microsoft provides
Right.
to actually make all of this happen.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's more than just drag and drop.
Definitely not.
All right.
So Microsoft has a suite of tools.
Okay.
Azure Migrate is at the heart of it.
Okay.
This is your command center for
Yeah.
discovery,
Yeah.
assessment,
Okay.
and migration.
Sounds impressive.
Yeah.
Give us a sneak peek
So-
at what this tool can do.
So Azure Migrate helps you inventory your servers,
Okay.
your databases,
Mhm.
even virtual desktops.
Okay.
It assesses their readiness for the cloud
Okay.
and identifies potential compatibility hiccups
Okay.
before they become migration headaches.
That's like a cloud migration advisor.
It is.
Making sure that you're truly prepared for the movement.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop there.
Oh.
Azure Migrate has tools like the Data Migration Assistant,
Okay.
specifically for SQL databases,
Oh.
helping you spot potential compatibility issues.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's the Azure TCO calculator
Okay.
to crunch the numbers
Yeah.
and build a solid business case.
So you can actually see
Yeah.
the potential cost savings in black and white
Yes,
before making the leap.
exactly.
This tool helps you justify the investment
It does.
and make sure that cloud migration aligns
Right.
with your overall financial strategy.
Exactly.
It sounds like they've thought of everything,
They have.
but are there any caveats to keep in
Yes.
mind?
Well, remember, tools are only as good as the people using them.
Right.
Your success
Mhm.
depends on how well you define your strategy,
Okay.
plan your migration,
Yeah.
and choose the right approach
Right.
for your specific needs.
It's about understanding the big picture,
It is.
not just getting caught up in the technical details.
Exactly.
Now, with that foundation in place.
Let's explore
Yeah.
the various migration strategies that
Yeah.
Microsoft offers.
Okay.
Which one will be the best fit for your applications?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's what we'll tackle next in our
Okay.
deep dive into Azure migration.
Sounds good. Okay, so we've established that migrating to Azure can solve
Yeah.
some major business challenges, but let's get practical now.
Okay.
How do we actually move these applications?
Well, let's start with the classic lift and shift,
Okay.
also known as rehosting.
Hmm.
This is popular because it's generally the fastest and simplest way
All right.
to get your workloads into the cloud.
So we're literally picking up our applications
Yeah.
and dropping them into Azure.
Essentially, yes.
Sounds almost too easy. What's the catch?
It's not quite drag and drop,
Okay.
but Azure Migrate does make it pretty straightforward.
Okay.
But before you even touch the tools,
You need to prepare both your on-premises environment
Mhm.
and your Azure landing zone.
we talked about landing zones earlier, but let's dive a bit deeper.
Sure.
Why is prepping this space so crucial?
Well, imagine building a house.
Okay.
You wouldn't just start laying bricks
Right.
without a solid foundation, right? Your
Mhm.
landing zone is that foundation in Azure.
Okay.
It ensures that your cloud environment is secure,
Okay.
compliant with your company's policies,
Right.
and set up for optimal performance
Okay.
from the get-go.
So we're creating a secure, organized space
Exactly.
for our applications to land in Azure.
Yes.
What happens once our landing zone is ready?
Then comes the heart of the rehosting process,
Okay.
replication.
Right.
Essentially, we're copying your on-premises
Okay.
servers and data to Azure.
Sounds simple enough?
Yeah,
But I'm guessing there's more to it
there is.
than just hitting copy and paste.
Yeah, you're right. There are different approaches.
Well, to replication,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how much downtime your applications can tolerate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So asynchronous replication
Okay.
copies data at set intervals,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine for less critical workloads.
Okay.
But for applications that can't afford
Right.
any data loss,
Yeah.
synchronous replication is essential
Okay.
because it mirrors your data in real time.
So it's like having an identical twin
In a-
for your data running in Azure,
Exactly.
constantly in sync with the original.
Yeah,
That sounds ideal
Yeah.
for mission-critical systems.
it is.
But how do we make sure everything is working correctly before making the big switch?
Testing is absolutely crucial.
Okay.
And Azure Migrate provides tools
Right.
specifically for this purpose.
Okay.
You can perform test migrations,
Mm-hmm.
which create temporary copies
Oh.
of your replicated servers
Mm-hmm.
in an isolated Azure environment.
So it's like a dress rehearsal
It is.
before opening night. Exactly.
Okay, so once our testing is complete
Right.
and we're confident everything's working as expected,
Yeah.
it's time for the big cutover to Azure.
Exactly.
This is when you redirect user traffic
Yes.
from your on-premises servers
Right.
to your new Azure environment.
Correct.
Azure Migrate helps orchestrate this transition,
It does.
minimizing downtime
Yes.
and ensuring a seamless experience for your users.
That's the goal.
It's the moment of truth.
Yeah.
Like flipping a switch
Mhm.
and directing everyone to their new cloud-powered applications.
Exactly.
What happens to those old servers
All
once
right.
the cutover is complete?
Once you've confirmed everything is running smoothly in Azure,
Okay.
you can decommission those on-premises servers,
Okay.
freeing yourself from the headaches of hardware maintenance,
Oh, right.
software updates, and all those other joys
I love the choice,
of
exactly.
managing a physical data center.
It's like shedding a heavy backpack
It is.
you've been carrying around for years. Now you can move faster
Right.
and focus on things that really matter.
Exactly.
But isn't there a risk of simply moving your old problems
That's a valid concern.
to the cloud
Yeah.
if you're just lifting and shifting applications as
Yeah.
they are?
Rehosting offers quick wins,
Okay.
but it might not address underlying architectural issues
Right.
or technical debt.
Yeah.
If you have legacy applications that are holding your business back,
Yeah.
you might need to consider more transformative
Okay.
migration strategies.
So rehosting is a great starting point,
It is.
but it might not be the end goal
Right.
for every application.
Exactly. That's why it's important to understand the full spectrum
Okay.
of migration options.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we're not just migrating for the sake of migrating.
All right.
We're doing this to unlock business value
Okay.
and enable innovation.
So rehosting is just one piece of the puzzle.
It is.
What other migration strategies should we consider?
So Microsoft offers several approaches,
Uh-huh.
each with its own pros and cons.
Right.
Refactoring,
Oh.
rearchitecting, and rebuilding are all options
Oh.
depending on your goals
Right.
and the complexity of your applications.
Yeah.
Let's delve into those
Yeah.
in more detail.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Let's unpack those strategies
Yeah.
and see how they can help us take
Yeah.
full advantage
Yeah.
of what Azure has to offer.
Right.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground on this migration journey.
We have.
We understand the why now.
Mhm.
We've explored Microsoft's framework.
Right.
We even got hands-on with rehosting.
Yeah.
But there are two more pieces
Okay.
of the puzzle that we need to address:
All right.
governance and management.
Yeah.
They sound a bit like
Hmm.
the less glamorous side of cloud migration,
Huh.
but I have a feeling they're pretty crucial.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Think of governance
Yeah.
as setting the rules of the road for your cloud environment. It's
Yeah.
about maintaining control,
Hmm.
ensuring security and compliance,
Right.
and making sure that everything aligns
Okay.
with your overall business goals.
So it's not just about the technology.
It's not.
It's about establishing the right processes and policies
Right.
to manage your Azure resources effectively. Does
Exactly.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with
Yeah.
sensitive data
Right.
and mission-critical applications.
Absolutely.
But where do you even begin?
Well, Microsoft offers some powerful tools to simplify governance.
All right.
One of the key ones
Yeah.
is Azure Policy.
Okay.
It lets you define rules and guardrails
Mm-hmm.
that are automatically enforced
Okay.
across your Azure environment.
So it's like a way to codify
It is.
your best practices
Yeah.
and prevent anyone from accidentally
Right.
or intentionally
Yeah.
straying from the approved path.
Exactly.
So it's like having a digital rule book.
it is.
That's always on,
Yeah.
making sure everyone's playing by the same rules.
Yeah.
That sounds like a huge relief,
It
especially for large organizations
right.
with multiple teams working in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of rules can you enforce with Azure Policy?
All sorts of things.
Okay.
Allowed resource types,
Mm-hmm.
naming conventions,
Okay.
security configurations, you name it.
All right. Give me some examples.
Okay, so let's say you're in a regulated industry like healthcare.
Okay.
You can use Azure Policy
Mm-hmm.
to automatically enforce HIPAA compliance rules,
Okay.
ensuring that your cloud environment meets those strict data privacy requirements.
That takes a huge burden off your IT team,
It does.
knowing that those critical policies
Right.
are being enforced automatically. It's
Yes.
like having an extra layer of protection
It is.
built right in.
Yeah.
But governance can feel a bit overwhelming, especially if you're starting from scratch. Does Microsoft provide any templates or
Right.
predefined policies
Yeah.
to get you started?
Azure blueprints
Sure.
are a fantastic way to streamline governance.
Okay.
They're essentially prepackaged sets of
Right.
policies, templates, and other artifacts
Okay.
that you can easily deploy to establish a consistent foundation
Sure.
for your Azure workloads.
So it's like having a set of architectural blueprints
Exactly.
that guide the construction of your cloud environment, ensuring that everything is built to code and adheres to your organizational standards.
Precisely.
Blueprints save you time and effort,
They do.
reduce the risk of errors,
Yeah.
and help you enforce governance from day one.
And that's key.
That's incredibly valuable,
It
especially for organizations that are
Right.
new to the cloud
Yeah,
or want to standardize their Azure deployments.
absolutely.
It sounds like Microsoft has really thought through the challenges of governance
Mm-hmm.
and provided the tools to make it manageable.
Yes.
But what about the ongoing care and feeding
Right.
of our Azure environment?
So that's how management comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Governance sets the rules,
Right.
but management is about
Yeah.
making sure those rules are followed
Okay.
and that everything is running smoothly.
All right. So it encompasses
It does.
monitoring, troubleshooting, optimization, and of course, keeping a close eye on those cloud costs.
Of course.
Yeah. Costs can be a big concern with the cloud.
Yeah.
It's easy to spin up resources
Right?
and then forget about them,
Uh-huh.
leading to some nasty surprises on your
Well,
bill.
exactly.
Okay.
That's why Azure offers a robust suite of
Yeah.
management tools.
Okay.
One of the most versatile
Yeah.
is Azure Monitor.
Okay.
It gives you deep insights
All right.
into the health and performance
Okay.
of your Azure resources.
Collecting telemetry data from various sources, analyzing it,
Right.
and alerting you to potential issues.
So it's like having a
kidding me?
team of digital doctors constantly monitoring the vital signs
Yeah.
of your cloud applications,
Yeah.
make sure everything is running as it should.
Exactly.
Azure Monitor can help you identify performance, bottlenecks,
Uh-huh.
troubleshoot issues,
Mm-hmm.
and even plan for future capacity needs.
Yeah, it's an essential tool
Okay.
for any organization.
All right.
Running workloads in Azure?
Monitoring is covered,
Okay.
but what about protection?
Right.
Data loss is a nightmare scenario.
It is.
For any business.
Yeah.
How does Azure address
Okay.
backups and disaster recovery?
So Azure Backup
Okay.
is a cloud-based service
All right.
that simplifies data protection and recovery.
Mhm.
It lets you back up your
Right.
servers' databases
Right.
and even entire virtual machines to the cloud,
Yeah.
ensuring that you have a copy of your critical data
Yeah.
stored safely offsite.
It's like having a digital insurance policy for your data,
Exactly.
knowing that you can recover quickly
Yeah,
from an unexpected event
right.
provides peace of mind.
It does.
But we can't talk about management
Right.
without addressing the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Cloud costs.
Cloud costs.
What tools does Azure provide to help us manage
Yeah.
those ever-increasing bills?
Cost management is a
Right.
crucial part
I
of
mean-
any cloud strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Azure has several tools to help you monitor, analyze, and optimize your spending.
Okay.
You can set budgets,
Right.
track usage,
Mm-hmm.
identify cost-saving opportunities,
Okay.
and even automate cost optimization measures.
So it's all about making sure that you're getting the most value
Right.
out of your cloud investment.
Exactly.
It sounds like Microsoft has given us a
Giving-
comprehensive toolkit
Yeah.
for both governance and management.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine mastering these tools
Sure.
takes time and expertise.
It does.
Yeah.
Cloud management is an ongoing journey, and
Yeah.
there's always more to learn.
Right.
But Microsoft provides
Yeah.
extensive documentation,
Mhm.
training resources,
All right.
and a vibrant community to support you along the way.
Right.
And let's not forget the invaluable role
Yeah.
of experienced partners
Yeah. For sure.
who can guide you through the complexities
Yeah.
of Azure governance and management.
So it's a combination of the right tools,
It is.
the right expertise,
Mm-hmm.
and a willingness to learn and adapt.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive
Yeah.
into Azure migration.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Migrating to the cloud
Yeah.
is a significant decision,
It is.
but with careful planning,
Mhm.
the right strategy,
Mhm.
and a solid understanding of governance and management
Yeah.
principles,
Yeah.
it can be a transformative journey
Right.
for your business.
Yeah.
Embrace the possibilities and don't be afraid to ask for help along the way.
That's good advice.
The cloud is constantly evolving, so
Right.
continuous learning is key.
We've gone from the why of cloud migration
Yeah.
all the way to the practicalities of managing your Azure